Right, gentlemen, I think we need a debrief on last weekend's heavyweight clash between Mr. Wardley and Mr. Dubois. We've heard this week that Fabio is going to obviously activate that rematch clause in the hope of getting back in with Daniel in the not too distant future to be fighting back for that WBO heavyweight title fight. In fact, Frazer, you were there last week actually. What did you make of it, mate? Or an absolute slobber knocker of the best, highest resorts.
Barnstormer, and if you're a fan, and that's how I went to that fight as a fan, because I knew what it was going to be. I knew that you've got the ferocious punching of Daniel Dubois, the never go down attitude of Fabio Wardley. It was a concoction to one thing, and that was an absolutely brutal fight, and that's exactly what we got. It became a bit uncomfortable towards the end, I can't lie, and I've seen some brutal fights over the years, but for its viewing and for the entertainment it brought, I thought it was fantastic for the sport. The heavyweight division, again, fantastic for that. And I think both lads can take my hat off to them because it was fantastic.
Listen, both lads come out with an amazing amount of credit, but from Daniel's point of view, he obviously wins. And he wins with a really positive narrative off the back of it, because he's a lad that was on the seat of his pants on 2 occasions in that particular fight, and he's been accused in the past of maybe checking out at key moments. I think he's kind of washed that a little bit away, hasn't he? Getting off the seat of his pants twice, to come back, keep going into the fight against Fabio, and to deliver the performance that he ended up delivering to get the victory.
Absolutely. I think one of the things I took away from Daniel Dubois' performance was the maturity. You know, I think over time, we often forget with Daniel Dubois his age.
Yeah.
You know, I think he's been in that many big fights already, we sometimes forget. He's in a lot of them fights, he was a very young man. Do you know
he's
what I
only
mean?
28 now,
He's
mate,
28,
yeah.
so, you know, when he fought Joyce, been in with Usyk twice, obviously he's had his losses, but during them fights, he would have picked up valuable experience.
Yeah.
And then, for me, one of the biggest attributes of that fight, one of the biggest winners of that fight was Don Charles. I think everything he did last week was fantastic, you know, and I really think, especially at the point where Daniel Dubois sits on his arse, then he gets up, he looks at the corner, and then we find out after the fight that was almost trained for, it was planned. I thought that was a fantastic bit of training.
Yeah, I mean, you know that camp really well, Spence. I know that they're obviously delighted. I know that Don was in with you this week on the Talk Boxing channel. As I was just saying to Frazer there regarding Daniel's performance, he washes away anything that has been stigmatised with him in the past, and now we haven't even hit the prime of Daniel Dubois yet.
Frazer highlighted a very good point. That people forget that Daniel Dubois, who's now a 2-time world heavyweight champion, is 28 years of age.
Yeah.
I mean, this kid is maturing all the time, improving still all the time. He turned pro at a very young age. The losses to Joe Joyce, he was very young. He had the broken eye socket there, effectively saved his own career. Took a lot of criticism for that. I mean, what do people want? If he would have continued, his career would have been over. His eye socket was smashed in. He comes back from that. You lose to the best Alexander Usyk twice. No shame in that. The first one, he put up a bit of a fight. The second one, he got knocked out. And he takes that fight off the back of the Usyk loss, right? Now, we got to talk about, I can bring Frazer in on this one, you know, the psychological damage that can be lost when you have a defeat like that. You know, about the rebuild process. Not a lot of fighters like to jump straight back on the horse, go straight back in there. Daniel Dubois done that against a very strong, formidable opponent coming off a great win over Joseph Parker. He would have elevated him to another level. You have to respect that, and the performance off the back of that, knowing what he's going into there, you know, the psychological side of things, Frazer, that you can talk about as a current fighter, that has to be respected.
100%, and I think the frightening thing is, I think Daniel Dubois actually better than he boxed last week. I think he will get better again, because obviously he's coming off the Usyk defeat. There was a bit of low confidence, and I think in that first couple of rounds, it took him a bit of time to build into the fight, but once he got that, and he started expressing himself, it was really going to be a difficult night for Fabio Wardley. And like I said, I do think Daniel is a fighter that he has he's very inside himself, and once he starts to express himself, and his hands start going, he gets a little bit of confidence, and then comes back to the corner, he gets a little bit of a pat on the back, a little bit of a well done, or he gets a telling off and a little slap around the face, he reacts to the people he respects.
Have you sparred him? Have you sparred Dubois?
Yeah, many rounds.
What do you make of him?
Very, very, very strong. I've said this many times. I always get the hardest puncher I've ever been in the ring with, David Price, by a country mile. Biggest puncher by a mile. Second to that would be Daniel Dubois. The jab, when he lets it go and he's relaxed, the jab is like a backhand. And I know that gets said quite a lot, but I mean it. It is such a force, and it's sharp. And I think he's underrated as well. He's body punching. You might not see it. His body punching is very good. He's a good all-rounder, I'd say.
Regarding the attitude of Fabio jumping straight back in, what did you make of that this week, obviously activating that rematch clause?
I was surprised, and well, listen, I know everyone since the fight, all we've done is talk about how much of a warrior Fabio is. And I've seen him come out, he put something on Instagram about he will fight any man, and you know what, I commend him. I know the kind of character he is, I commend him. I mean, my instant thought was, is this a bit of a rush decision off emotion? And maybe should he just have a second, mate, give yourself a couple of weeks, recover, then him and the team get together and have a calculated think about what's next. But it's been done, it's been activated, and here we are. And I respect it, but like I said, I think everyone knows he needs to see Fabio Wardley have a good rest and be 100% to go into that fight.
Yeah. What do you make of it, Spence?
I wasn't actually surprised that Fabio done that. He activated that rematch clause, because that's the sort of character he is. And the reason I wasn't surprised is because I've had chats with Fabio about his boxing career, where he wants to go, how long he wants to be in the game for, and he's talked about not wanting longevity in the career, not wanting that sort of thing, getting in there, doing his stuff and getting back out. So he's in the prime position, right? Because we've got so many good fighters in and around there right now, especially from Britain. You know, you throw even Frazer's name into that hat now off the back of that performance against Justice Rooney. That's the reality of it. He's looking at it going, I can get straight back on the horse here, straight back in there and box for a world title. I've got that punch power. If I can adapt a little bit, do a little bit of changing, I can turn it around. You know, he's done that. Look at the life and death struggle he had with Frazer Clarke in the first one. The second fight, he found that shot, he closed the gap a little bit, and the execution was brilliant. Look, Anthony Joshua's done it, Alexander Usyk has done it, Tyson Fury has done it. They've gone straight back in there. What I'm saying is, I would take that opportunity. Yes, he needs to rest, because it was a brutal fight, and he was on the end of a lot of punishment. But if they get the times right, speaking to Don Charles, by the way, who said, look, we're happy to do that, and we do think he wants to do it, but it has to happen before November, December the latest. We need that fight to happen if he wants to activate that, or we've got to move on, because Daniel's ready.
Listen, I agree with both of you regarding the rest. I mean, a fight like that does take a little bit of time off your career, doesn't it? And I think everybody will look at that last weekend and they will fully empathise with Fabio. Take as much time as you can. But you're right, obviously it can't hold Daniel's career up as well, so therefore November, December, I think is a period of time which you look at it. I look at Fabio, and maybe I'm wrong with this, and again, I'd like your insight on it. I look at Fabio very different to the way that I look at everybody else in the heavyweight division, because of where he's come from and what he's achieved so far. Everything's a bonus right now, you know what I mean? He's cracked the game, man. He's Rocky Balboa, the living daylights out of this thing. So everything's a bonus. So I think coming back down to get a tune-up, get the confidence, I don't think that works for him in his story, if I'm honest. I think it's just like, nah, man, I'm here for a good time. Let's see, let's just go again. And if it doesn't work out, then you can have a look at something else. But for now, everything he does, everything he achieves, he's far beyond anybody would have given him the credit for in the first place.
I agree. No, on second thoughts, thinking about it, I'm probably just thinking about Fabio
from a human point of view.
And the fact that I know he's got a little daughter.
Yeah,
and I spoke to him a few times, and you know, even though we've had our fights, I've got so much respect for that man, because there's kids like me up and down the country, all weights, that have been in ABA championships, international tournaments for years.
Yeah.
And not, envy's not the wrong word, but we look at Fabio and we think,
how's he done that?
How have you done that, mate? That's the truth of the matter, you know. And it's not a jealousy thing, because I take my half and say, you know what?
It's an admiration thing, isn't it?
It's admiration, mate, because what he's done is alien, and I'll be honest, I don't ever think we'll see it done again. I really don't.
I agree with you, especially in the heavyweight division, mate.
No,
I agree with you.
Exactly.
Listen, I want to come off the back of that because Frazer's absolutely right in what he says. Now, I've been around a lot longer even than Frazer, and I can't remember a Rocky story. Yeah, we've had some amazing stories in the past where you get fighters that you never thought would reach any sort of heights, go on and achieve certain things. But that kid's story, where he come from, how he got there, and what he's achieved since then, is insane, mate. And then, you know, and I think that's why his mindset is the way that it is. He's saying, look, I want to go in there, give me that world title shot again, give me another crack. And if it don't work, then, you know what I mean, I don't think he'll play around at that British Commonwealth level if that's not it. I think he wants just the big fights now, earn the money, and check out. That's where I sit.
And I think we're all forgetting one thing. He can seriously punch.
Yeah.
So I say this all the time. We can have all the skill in the world in pro boxing. It's not like the amateurs. You can have all the skill in the world, and you might just get caught that one shot. Like look at Justice Hooney.
Yeah.
Look at that. So that punch power, that turn off button, for me in pro boxing is the biggest advantage and the most deadly weapon you can have. And he's got it. And we almost seen it. We could be having a completely different conversation now after last week. Well, round one. We could be calling him the new coming of Mike Tyson after he put him down. It never quite happened, but whilst he's got that punch power, he's always got a chance. So why not put him back in? I understand, I do get it.
And also, anybody writing Fabio Wardley off in that rematch, and I'll say it now, mate, don't know boxing. Because that Frazer said it there. He has that one-punch knockout power, slight adjustments. It's not like Daniel's a light-footed, fleet-footed fighter. He likes to get in the mix, and when you do that, you give your opponent opportunity. So he's always going to have that opportunity. Yes, Daniel will start a big favourite going in off the back of that one. Don't write him off, though, that's for sure.
And obviously, you've got to analyse the guy. Every single fight that he has had, there has been improvement time on time. He does take in the data from the previous fight. He does develop, and he is getting better for a guy that has come from the white-collar scene. I just think, listen, activate the rematch clause, roll the dice once again, but try and push this as far down into the back end of the year as you possibly can, because I think if we're talking summertime, I think that's going to be too soon.
I mean, if we're talking about the actual fight, I know this has been said a lot, but all the improvements I've seen in the first few rounds of the Hooney fight, obviously, I watched that a lot recently because I was going to box him. And Fabio, people might not have seen it. I think it's the end of the first and end of the second. Fabio does a slip backhand and wobbles Justice Hooney to his boot.
Yes.
Yeah, so
it's right on the bell, that, isn't it?
Right on the bell.
Yeah.
No, you can't really see it unless you watch it.
Yeah.
But Fabio's skills, I think they are a bit underrated. And against Parker, you watch the first few rounds until it goes into a wall. The jab, everything's boxing really well. I'll go as far as saying, in this Dubois fight, he didn't really show them skills as much, and I think that's because of the early knockdown. So then he went a bit right and happy, and probably not forgot to box, but went away from it because he'd seen what he was having success with. Does that make sense?
Yeah, he was looking to knock him out rather than set the things up. I completely understand what you're saying, yeah.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.